How's it going, guys, and welcome back. Same day, 3 episodes today. Yeah, but it's gonna be uploaded different times. So yeah. How's it going, guys, and welcome back to Katawa Shoujo. Didn't I say that already? I may cut that out. We'll return to what we were doing. I slide my books down the return chute and crash into the cart with a pleasant thud. Yuko, however, doesn't seem as impressed as I. Hisao! You scared me. Sorry, I thought you would be used to that by now. Or is the literacy level here so low that nobody borrows any books? No, I think everyone here can read fine. Yeah, never mind. There are some battles that you can never win. Trying to explain jokes is one of them. My dad taught me My dad taught me the hard way. Say, Yuko, have you seen Hanako about? She left class early, but she wasn't in her usual hiding place. I think I saw her sneak in before lunch. Oh, but I'm not supposed to tell anyone that. I just told you that I saw her leave. No need to stress out. Oh, of course. She's probably in the bag. Thanks. Get any new books in recently? Oh, shit. No, sorry. I'll let you know when we do, though. Okay. If there's one thing I know about librarians, part-time or otherwise, it's that they appreciate people that take a genuine interest in their work. I walk from now familiar path to Hanako's reading nook, picking up a few titles along the way. Sometimes I find it hard to discover a book that will interest me among the shelves. An author's name and a two-word title don't mean much in a sea of similar words. For that reason, I sometimes reread books that I read in the past. Better to bet on the favorite than a new runner. An unfamiliar title from the familiar author peeks out among the spines of its neighbors, so I remove it from the shelves. At least I'm not going over old material. As expected, Hanako sits on her beanbag, buried deep in a copy of Dance, Dance, Dance. Dance, Dance Revolution. Hi, Hanako. How's it going? I fight back the urge to ask why she left class early. If Lily's suspicions were right, then asking her about that could have the opposite effect. Best to leave it for the time being. Sometimes the best way to get an answer from someone is to never ask the question. Hello. Hisao, I'm fine. Something seems off, and after a couple of seconds I realize what it is. Hanako's smiling. She looks as if she's pleased to see me. It's a nice change from the usual instinctively frightened reaction, and something I hope I can see more of as we get to know each other better. Good to hear. How's that book? I heard it's a trip. It's good, I think. I only just started it, so I don't know really. Fair enough. Let me know how it goes. I may borrow it once you're done. Sure. There's a good 15 minutes left in lunch. Not enough to really get into a book, but too much to stand around doing nothing. And Hanako's already returning to her reading, so I doubt I'll get much conversation from her. Oh well, I'd better make myself comfortable. I'll slouch into a beanbag and crack open my book. The familiar style of the author leaps out at me from the very first line. As the sentences turn into paragraphs, I start to relax a little. No matter how I try, I can't seem to get myself into the atmosphere of the book. This is partly due to the lack of time, but the more distracting factor is Hanako. Every 10 or so seconds she peers over the top of her book, but when our eyes meet, she quickly ducks behind the covers. I guess she did want to talk about something after all. What's up? You look like a prairie dog on a lookout. No, it's nothing. I've told you before, nothing means something when you say it like that. Hanako squirms a little in her beanbag, hoping that by changing her position she'll find the word she's looking for. I was in an accident. Accident? Just now? Are you alright? Hanako shakes her head, her hair flowing around her shoulders in wisps of an amethyst on the background of a pale and dark flesh. No, when I was younger. Realization crashes into me like a semi. When I was... It's alright, Hanako. You don't have to tell me anything if you don't want to. Again, she shakes her head. No, I have to tell you. Oh, she draws the... When I was young, I was in a fire. My house burned down, and I nearly didn't make it. After that, I was alone. Oh, she only her survived. Hanako's eyes glisten in the dim light of the library, and I reach out to grasp her hand. It's okay, Hanako. You don't have to keep going. But I have to. Why? What brought this on? Last night, Lily told me about your heart. And I didn't think it was fair. Fair? That I knew about you. That I knew about you, but you didn't know about me. I squeeze Hanako's hand a little. Don't be silly, but yes, I have a heart condition. I lean a little closer to Hanako. What I didn't tell Lily is that I had my first attack when a girl confessed to me. I smile a little to break the tension. Really? Really? I haven't heard from her for a while though, so I guess it's all over. I know it's all over. There's no other way to interpret what happened the last time I saw her. In some ways, not having heard from her again has helped me move on from that period of my life. So now we both know a little about each other, but you don't have to talk about things if you don't want to. In fact, I feel a little bad even thinking about the whole incident. I can almost smell the hospital disinfectant burning the back of my sinuses again. I imagine Hanako is going through the same thing now. When I was in the hospital, I went to the burn ward once. And only once. I was bored, so I went for a walk through all the wards. I went through oncology and thought I could take it, but when I got to the burn ward, I turned around and went back to my bed. To think that Hanako would have spent months in a place like that, smelling nothing but corrupted skin, nothing disinfectant and sterilized water. The really bad cases were kept in isolated pods, and that no foreign objects could enter that would have meant no reading. I would have gone insane if I didn't have my books in the hospital. And she said she was alone. Did her parents die? I'll have to ask Lily about it. I can imagine myself saying something dumb unintentionally. Thank you, Hisa. I haven't told many people about this. To be honest, I haven't told many people about my circumstances either. Then I won't tell anyone either. Deal! I changed my grip on Hanako's hand into a handshake as the warning bells chimed through the windows. Well then, we'd better head back to class then, eh? Sure. Oh, Act 3? Or is it 4? Oh, Act 3. Castling. The tint of the room slowly changes from the shrine of the afternoon to an orange of dusk. A clock lazily ticks away the seconds, counting in the background on the verge of hearing. But no matter how long I wait, the outcome cannot be changed. The diminutive playing piece makes a small click against the board. Like a wound spring, Hanako makes her move only moments after mine. It's embarrassing in comparison to my 5-minute moves. She seems to know exactly what she wants to do. Mate. Again? What does this make? 3-2? Stalemates don't count. Damn! You're getting better at this every day. That or she's been holding back. I never have thought of it when I first met her, but she really has a knack for this game. Chess seems to have become a popular pastime for the two of us, hiding away in the tea room, playing a game or two after classes. From here, the students outside can just barely be heard smiling about. The everyday noises from below remind me a little of my life before Yamaku, though I'm by now well aware that it's a life I'll never get back to. Fancy another game? I have to finish my homework. Oh well, I'll see you tomorrow then. But what about this? Hanako points to the tea set surrounding the most empty chessboard. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about that. I got it. Oh, okay. See you later. Hanako departs as I start cleaning up the area. The occasional whistles and cheers from the sporting clubs outside become less frequent, eventually approaching silence. A part of me still wants to be in some kind of team. Since I played soccer and other sports before my accident, I guess it's only normal to feel nostalgic about what I can't do anymore. But I have other reasons than that to my coming for my coming here so often. And I don't feel so bad about losing that part of myself because of it. Lily is a good friend by now. But it's the small exchange that I have with Hanako that feel especially dear. Small victories I feel every day as I see more of what she's but she's like under her self-imposed shell. That's why I've come here most of all. As I'm putting away cups and saucers, I hear talking outside the door. Pausing for a moment to listen, I can make out that it's Hanako and Lily, and decide to go outside to investigate. Are you quite sure? I'm sure. Isao. Hanako turns to see me with a look of mild surprise as he noticed my approach. Lily must have caught her, just as she was about to leave. Oh my, Isao is here as well? Afternoon, Lily. What's up? I was hoping now that I finished with my class representative duties for the day, that I might have the two of you accompany for the tea at the Shanghai. It would be nice to enjoy ourselves outside of the school for a change. I'd be up for it. I think Hanako had work to do though. It's not all that much. Wonderful. It seems that we're decided then. I cast my eyes across the cafe as the three of us step in. As usual, there are only a handful of people around the most, and the noise level is a quiet background hum. The hold Lily has on Hanako's arm remains as it has been for the entire slow walk down the hill at the local town, though it's hard to say for which reason, for Lily's guidance or for Hanako's reassurance. For a moment, Lily removes her arms from Hanako's to retract her cane, as she quickly scutters over to where we stand, but soon replaces it right back to where it had been. Welcome to Shanghai. I feel hungry. May I take your order? She gives a deep bow, her well-delivered and professional introduction putting her in a good mood. It's a nice change from the norm for Yuko. Just tea, please. Hanako? Isao? I'll have a slice of pie and a coffee. Just tea, please. Coming right up. Please take any seat you wish, and I'll be back shortly. Yuka gives a smile and nod before shuffling to the counter, and we make our way to some empty seats by the window in quick measure. We slip into our seats, the girls on one side with Lily's cane propped up beside them, and I on the other. I realize that Hanako's not doing something that she so often does. Rather than keeping her eyes pinned to the ground and hiding behind her blind escort, busy trying to convince herself that the world around them doesn't exist, she's merely keeping her eyes low and helping Lily around. Are you okay, Lily? You look tired. She lowers her head a little, looking somewhat embarrassed that she let it show. Class representative work can be very tiring, considering that it often means dealing with the student council. Very tiring indeed. How do the other representatives go? Why is that so hard for me to pronounce? Better than I, but not by much. Shizen is a harsh taskmaster. Taskmaster, no matter whom she deals with. It doesn't sound like you're particularly relish the job. Why do you do it in the first place? If it's that bad. Being a class representative is enjoyable, and I can deal with the responsibility well enough. It's just that the people involved are sometimes... She trails off, cutting her words at a rather opportune spot. It's hard to imagine Lily cursing, but I imagine that if anyone could make her do so, it would be Shizune. Hanako looks to be withering a bit in the light of such conflict, but before I can steer the topic away a little, she stands up. Hanako? I'll be back in a bit. With that, she leaves for the restroom. I suppose that's one way to deal with the situation, if that was indeed her motivation. Lily, however, looks a little wounded. Don't worry about it. I don't think it was you. But I think she's been getting stronger recently. You've seen it yourself, right? That went a bit awry. Unfortunately, Lily doesn't look offended. And by now, I really shouldn't be quite so scared of stepping on that landmine around her. Possibly. Sometimes I find it hard to tell though. Silence reigns from the moment before 2 teacups, a pie, and a mug of steaming coffee appear in front of us. Shh! I notice that Yuka takes special care to place the teacup against the tip of Lily's fingers, putting her to know where it is. Here you go. Thanks, Yuka. Thank you. With a quick and silent bow, the bespectacled waitress takes her leave. Ah, that's right. I was meaning to ask you something, and now would be the right time to do so. I'm all ears. Hanako's birthday is coming up, and I was hoping that you might accompany me for present shopping in the city this weekend. Hanako's birthday soon? I suppose it would be a nice chance to cheer her up a bit. Like Yuko, she always seems to be teetering on the edge of either panic or depression, and I've never seen her enjoy herself much outside of her chess games. All that aside, learning the layout of the city better with a friend keeping me company sounds like a good way to spend a weekend. Sure, I'd be happy to. Have you got any plans for what to do for her birthday? A party? Or anything? Hanako being Hanako, perhaps a low-key affair would be. Lily suddenly cuts herself short, leaving me to wonder why as she brings her teacup to her lips and begins to sip. After a few seconds, I notice Hanako walking up to us over her shoulder. Lily's hearing must be very good indeed if it was the sound of the restroom door opening that tipped her off. Hanako takes her seat once again and wastes no time in drinking her tea. So the three of us are quietly eating and drinking as the sun sets. It's a nice way to spend the remainder of the day's light, and it makes me appreciate the quiet and serene surroundings of Yamaku. I think I'm really beginning to like life here, as isolated as it may be. I finishes off the last of my coffee and the rest of the mug on the table while the girls talk between themselves. The coffee here is a little bitter for my tastes, but still quite good. Better than what I can make for myself in any case. The girls' discussion is mainly focused on their respective reading preferences, which does give me a little curiosity about the related topics. Hey Hanako, I was just wondering, aside from chess and reading, do you have any hobbies or things you like doing? She's completely stopped in her tracks, looking quite surprised that anyone would be interested in asking such a question about her. It takes her a little time to formulate as a response. I guess I like singing a little. I'm okay with computers as well, but I don't use them all that much. So she likes singing. Singing is not exactly something I expected to hear. It's hard to imagine her singing voice, given how soft-spoken she is. Lily, on the other hand, simply nods. She must already know all this, since she's been friends with Hanako for 1 year or so by now. What about me? She hesitates before quickly flickering her head up and down. It's only logical that she'd want me to talk about my hobbies after she told me hers. There's chess, obviously, but also there was soccer as well, though I can't really do that anymore. Reading, which I picked up in hospital. This is surprisingly hard. Didn't Hanako look a little put off by the direction this is taking? And the more I think about it, the more I am too. It sounds as if you've picked up quite a few things since your accident. Lily's candor is coated with probably the most positive spin one could put on what I said. Hanako, however, is silent. If a situation becomes difficult, her reaction always seems to be withdrawing into silence in order to prevent things getting worse or physically retreating. A soft ring gives us a pause. As Lily reaches into her pocket, it becomes obvious that the sound is coming from her phone. Sorry. It's okay. Shh. Lily gives a quick nod before shuffling out of his seat and taking the call a little distance away to avoid disturbing the both of us. Must be nice to be popular. Hanako smiles but doesn't take up the hook for further discussion. Am I falling asleep? Oh, relaxing. I end up sitting back and closing my eyes, relaxing as best I can. It's nice and peaceful here. I wonder what it'd be like to have a grown-up somewhere like this, rather than have grown up somewhere like this rather than in the city. You come from the city? Looks like I found something she wants to talk about. Yeah, you could say I was a city kid through and through. It sounds like a lot have changed. It did. I'm still not quite sure what to make of it all, though it's a bit of a culture shock in more ways than one. You must have gone through something like this when you arrived at Yamago, right? I imagine most new students would. No, not really. Hanako gazes a little to the side, looking unwilling to go on. I tilt my head inquisitively, but a couple of seconds pass with no further answer. But can't we deal with that on Monday? The fallout has hardly settled from the last. I understand. I'll try to talk her down. You know that what she's like when she gets locked in onto an idea. Yes, thank you. I'll talk to you later then. Goodbye. Lily's conversation ends with a snap of her phone, closing. She returns to her table, but doesn't take her seat. Need to go? Unfortunately, class representative work calls once again. I can come with you? It's alright, Hanako. I'll just be going straight to the student council. There's no need to spoil a fine evening on my account. Besides, if you were to accompany me on the way back to the school, who would keep our poor Hisao company? Okay. I can join you for tea again later tonight if you'd like. I may well need it. We agree on the We agree on that plan, and Lily says her farewells to the both of us, taking her cane and after Hanako passes it to her. Despite my offer to pay for Lily's share, she insists on giving us her portion of the bill and gives her regards to Yoko as she takes her leave. And then we're alone. It may be all well and good to leave Hanako and I alone to have some time together, but all in typical means is the two of us sitting near each other in silence for a while. I wonder what I must look like to Hanako. I never thought of myself as a scary person, but to have someone my own age acting this way around me makes me intensely self-aware, as if it's my fault that she's so troubled. She might get more used to me if she were to stop being so cloistered in Yamaku, but then again, when even people much older than her react so strongly after a single glance at her face, she may as well feel the same way I do now. It's a real catch-22. If she stays in Yamaku, she won't get used to socializing. But if she leaves, any effort she might try would get thrown back at her by the people who can't deal with her scarring. Want to order something else to keep us going? We hadn't had much of a dinner after all. Hanako brightens and nods vigorously. Glad that I brought the topic for her. I catch Yuko's gaze and she dutifully comes over to take our orders. Would you like something else? I'll just have a sandwich special and a hot chocolate. Bit late for coffee by now, Hanako. I'll have the same. With a nod and a bow, Yuko turns on the ball on her foot and returns behind the counter, where she busies herself fishing up bread and condiments and working the machine to make our drinks. Not a word is said between us until Yuko comes back. She smiles and gives us our food and drinks, before moving to a customer who's called for her attention. I give up on the prospect of having much of a conversation with my companion and decide to just enjoy the meal, small as it may be. It tastes nice, as does most of the food here. After having a few mouthfuls, I notice something missing, namely the sound of Hanako eating. Looking back to her, I see Hanako fidgeting a little behind her untouched sandwich. Not hungry? She shakes her head from side to side. Even as she does, the patch of hair she keeps over the right side of her face still does its job in hiding on it almost entirely. It's not that. Ah, I was all ready to have your share too. You look troubled. Is something wrong? I'm startled by her thinking that I'm the one who looks troubled, but on second thought, she's probably right. My face may have given away my emotion without me noticing, and she's hardly a dim person. Quite the opposite. We're friends, right? Friends. From the tone of her voice and shrinking posture, it looks like as though I've hit yet another landmine. This is another reason why interacting with her is difficult. The self-imposed psychological barrier she put up between herself and others, including me and most likely even Lily, it's a shame that... I think that we are. I'm a little taken off guard by Hanako's straightforward answer. All the more so since I was about to give up on getting any reply at all. I see. Am I wrong? Sorry, No, it's just... Hearing confirmation of that from you is reassuring. To pick up on what you said earlier, since coming to Yamaku, I've been a bit uneasy about how I should relate with others. I find myself chuckling a little. It's surprising how much of a relief that was. I can feel my face smiling as I pick up my cup of hot chocolate and bring it to my lips. Ouch! It's hot! That's why I haven't eaten yet. I was waiting for my drink to cool down first. I guess I'll wait then. Both of us share a little chuckle. The situation isn't really that funny, but for some reason it feels like laughing is the most natural thing to do right now. I guess we're both a little bit wound up about each other. I was so busy thinking Hanako was the one with something wrong. It took her to remind me that I was uneasy as well. But be that as it may, it still feels a little nice to have someone thinking about me like that, in her own way. Following a long, quiet trudge up the hill and into the school grounds, the two of us find ourselves between the two dormitories. Regular night patrols pass between the male and female dormitory buildings, both for security and to quickly raise the alarm for any medical issues that may arise. The guard currently on duty notices us and gives us a quick nod as he continues on his way. A loud yawn escapes on Hanako's mouth before she has a chance to cover it. I have little doubt she's fairly tired by now. I'd better be off to my room then. See you tomorrow, Hanako. Good night. We separate and begin to walk our separate ways before I stop and look back. Hanako stands there, waving to me as she smiles. I smile and wave back to her, and after a few seconds she turns and walks up the stairs to her dormitory building, disappearing through the night. Oh, isn't that cute? These little moments we share between us feel like a small treasure. One thing is sure, I want to protect that small, delicate smile she so fleetingly wears around so few people. I wonder about these feelings I have when Hanako's around. And when I'm able to do things for her, whether they may be the seed for something beyond that we share now. I think 20 minutes has passed now. If not, I'm sorry for a short episode, but I'm gonna end it here, guys. Hope you enjoyed. I'm gonna leave you guys with a high five. Okay?
Prepare yourself! Dance like a damn! Instant balls! That would have been perfect if you hadn't botched to finish.
Flattery will get you nowhere.
You insufferable woman.